Welcome back to the Resupply with me, Guy Next Door.
Me, DK.
And me, Fan.
Bringing you your semi-regular...
Not even regular. Don't even try to claim this is a regular thing right now.
Bringing you your biannually double tap of all things Space Marine.
Dropping straight into your wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey.
It's been a minute, fellas. And the world...
Has it? I can't tell.
the world...
It's been at least 3 minutes. At least 3 minutes.
Everything ended. The world went crazy. And I can't even remember what we talked about on the last podcast. I think it was about... Nationals cancelling, right?
Or the lack thereof.
Yeah. And then we went dark. I think that, with the general feel of how things were going, we didn't really have that much to talk about, to be honest. Or maybe more accurate is that I probably felt a little down on things, so I wasn't really
understandably
in a headspace to want to actually do this for a little
Talk to us?
Well, it's not so much that. I enjoy talking to you, but when you love a thing and that thing goes away, it becomes hard to talk about that thing with passion. So
that's fair.
Yeah, but there's been some stuff in the works, which we'll get to in a second.
Stuff.
I love
and
stuff.
Things.
Stuff and things. But before we get into that, how's the end of the world treating you guys?
Well, it's as hot as the devil's butthole here now. So
I hate summer.
Already was. I got a couple nights of good sleep now that the semester's over. I kind of decompressed a little bit.
Yeah.
Haven't submitted my grades and whatnot, but then the heat wave hit, and I don't sleep well when it's hot.
Nah.
So I'm a little loopy right now. This could be an interesting podcast, folks. Maybe I should add some Fireball, really smooth things over.
You should. We should be drinking on the regular on this podcast.
Seems like a terrible
that'll just be a new segment.
Drinking with the DK?
Well, I mean, why not do that on the regular as opposed to once every 2 or 3 years, however long it is that you attend nationals, / get to play Laserforce.
It was pretty much every year until this year.
Yeah.
Thanks for ruining it, Steve.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, this is all Steve-O's fault.
Yeah, well, somebody had to cancel and spoil the fun, right? So it might as well be me. Might as well play the bad guy. But it's fun. Shit happens. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things that's like,
it's probably the healthiest perspective to take at this point. It's just shit happens. It's out of our control. We're all just people. We're doing the best we can.
That's right.
That's a thing.
We'll make it through this, and then maybe we'll get into some Laserforce after.
Maybe
we'll see. Fan, how have you found it?
Well, I mean, it's certainly been interesting with both my wife and I working from home. For those of you not keeping score at home, she's a high school teacher, and like she straight up has hated this whole distance learning thing. Not and basically because like nothing that she was teaching is obviously set up for online learning, and it's a completely different style of teaching and content delivery and everything else when it's classroom versus online. I feel like I shouldn't have to necessarily explain that, but I feel like I do have to explain it just because. And so the graduation for the high school kids she teaches is literally this coming Saturday, so the 30th. So depending upon when you release this, it'll either be just in the future or just in the past.
I'm thinking it'll be probably tomorrow.
So it'll be just in the future when this is originally released, and if you're listening to it in a couple of weeks, well, then it's already happened. And so she's really, 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 really hoping that next year like they're able to start the school year in the classroom. Because there are some the school she teaches at is a socioeconomically diverse school. If we're gonna, so there are challenges with kids having access to resources to allow them to do online learning. So there's just some challenges with that. So that's been kind of an interesting thing. And I've been working from home this whole time as well, and we've been told that the absolute earliest we're going to be allowed back into the office at all is September. And
sweet.
Well, so there's pluses and minuses to that. I mean, pretty much the entire team that I'm on, like, we've all decided that we like working from home as an option. We're not necessarily thrilled with it as a lifestyle.
Right.
Because there's just, you just start getting into some weird situations where like you don't get that separation between your work life and your home life. And you can do things to try to help with that, like both my wife and I have like separate actual workstations that are not our personal computers, so that we're not doing all of our work at our personal computers and then still doing gaming and other stuff on our personal computers.
Right.
So that's been kind of nice, and it's a total first world problem to have a house big enough that lets us do that. That's something that we are definitely very fortunate to have.
I hate it when my chef doesn't cook what I want.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that's not quite the same as over here, where we have two people doing online teaching from one computer that is an all-purpose PC. I mean, we do have laptops and stuff like that, and it managed to work out okay. But I guess the difference being that it's higher ed, but we certainly haven't been insulated from a lot of the same problems that you're mentioning, Dan, with people not having even access to all kinds of the different tools that you need. Not everybody is going to have reliable internet or webcams or all the fancy bells and whistles. So
so that's so that's definitely been a challenge for her. Our entire team is like, we wouldn't mind after we're allowed to go back in the office. We set like maybe like one day a week where we decide, okay, this is the day we're all going to go into the office, so that we can get that that face-to-face time, because there's certain elements to what I do. Like the reality is, like 80% of what I do I can do from home, no worries. It's fine. It's a lot of conference calls, it's a lot of computer work. I mean, it's things that I don't need to be in the office for. But that other 20%, which is typically it's a lot of brainstorming sessions and whiteboarding and stuff like that. You can do that online and via WebEx or Zoom or whatever your chosen web conferencing software is, but it loses something in that format where it's some of that stuff is just better when you're in person.
It's hard to like passively aggressively like leave toast out in the work kitchen, or heat up fish in a microwave, or that pleasant stuff.
But I mean, the reality is that like I know, like for my wife and I, like we've been extraordinarily lucky in this whole situation. Like both of us continued to work through the whole thing. Both of us, there was no drop in income. We had the ability to set up working from home and set up the different work areas within the home. So I mean, I readily acknowledge that in the grand scheme of things, anything that I have to complain about during this is the epitome of a first world problem. So, I mean, everything's a problem to somebody, even for first world problems, but, I don't really think.
But when they say it could be worse, it really could be a lot worse.
Oh yeah. No, like I said, my situation in amidst all this is probably one of the better ones that could have happened through all this. So,
well, we obviously, want to acknowledge anyone out there that's having a shitty go at this. Yeah, I mean, not much you can do. I can't afford to give you a loan, sorry. But but it still sucks. So T's and P's, yo, T's and P's. Right on. So yeah, it's not a great time, but there is maybe some light showing at the end of the tunnel. Maybe.
Yep. We just hope it's not a train barreling down on us.
Yeah.
Corona train.
I mean, like watching and reading a lot of the news reports, coming out of Australia and New Zealand, that looks like you guys are going to get a travel bubble, between your countries, and possibly including some of the Pacific Islands and in all that. Like that's been really cool to read, and seeing that you guys went from, was it level 3 down to level 2 lockdown, or
so we're in 2 at the Mo, I think. I'm not sure, I don't pay a huge amount of attention. I have my little bubble and I'm safe-ish in there. Although fun story, I had to go get the old test done because I wasn't feeling super great, so I went and had the test done. Came back negative, which I knew it would because we hadn't been anywhere, so it would be weird if we had caught it. But that's an interesting process.
Did you get your brain removed?
I mean, maybe just the tip. When
they say just the tip, Steve, it's never just the tip.
Oh, they take it and they put it all the way in, and I'm talking about the cotton swab. It goes all the way down.
All right, this is getting the mature tag put on the episode now.
But there is some like good news, good Laserforce centric news, I suppose. Auckland's just about to play our first members night. That's going to happen this coming Tuesday. So hopefully,
Sweet.
Lasers is open. People are feeling okay-ish to play. Not the whole scene, like not everyone, just us desperate people. There's other responsible people that'll probably, stay at home still for another, who knows, month, 2 months, who knows.
Well, you guys can take a page from the patented Dude Broman playbook. Even well before the pandemic, when we were still playing back in SAC, it had become his custom to take one vest at the start of the night, disinfect it with some Clorox wipes, and then that was just his vest for the rest of the night. So I think
pretty sure
you guys might be on that protocol for a little while.
So we'll take there'll be a few extra steps. I think that's probably the major one that we'll undertake. So I'm looking forward to it. I've been super cautious. Me and my wife have been in lockdown since about 2 weeks before the rest of New Zealand. It's been a long time. We still both work from home, so we've been overly cautious, and hopefully it means that we'll get to play some Laserforce soon. Well, me, not my wife. She's not keen.
No, she never has been.
Never, ever, not even a little bit.
That's okay. It's not like, my wife's the same. So it's like, you go and do your thing. It's fine. You go, shoo,
that's
away
you.
with you.
That's you. I'm fine.
Yeah.
So that's the first bit of news. The other thing, there has been some talk of a potential Australia-New Zealand tournament. I know that sucks for you guys over there. Tough shit.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I'm out of here, man.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully the travel bubble means, or hopefully the travel bubble kicks in by the time the what would have been nationals dates roll around, because there's still a bunch of people that have flights that weren't able to be refunded. They have, accommodation already paid for that wasn't able to be refunded. So if the travel bubble kicks in before July, the dates being before July 20th, we'll still look to have some sort of tournament. It'll probably be more in line with what you guys have with East and West Coast tournaments. So whether that's a draft style or a random draw or whatever, we'll figure that out. But man,
it does definitely give you the freedom to do something that you would not normally have done.
And play with people we don't normally get to play with in a competitive setting, which is kind of foreign for anyone outside of Brisbane in Australasia. And also see people again. Like, it'll be awesome to see the Australian scene again.
Will it though?
Well, will it? We've had a couple of Zooms. I had a couple of Zoom sessions with the guys from Oakley, and that was pretty fun. We played some games online, so it'd be great to have them in the flesh, if you know what I mean.
There goes that mature tag.
Yeah.
Just make sure you sanitize afterward.
It's been a long, cold lockdown.
I think before is probably the more relevant part. After, it's already too late.
I'm sure I could make something work at 2 meters away. I'm good like that. So yeah, those are two tag centric things.
Yeah, that is a bright spot for you guys, and I think that's a sign of, countries that have their shit together and can react to things responsibly. You get to play laser tag. On the other side, we have some countries that are less good at dealing with epidemics and are slow to react to things, but things are edging back to normal for whatever reason here in the States. And just on the laser tag front, there have been some rumblings from a couple of sites that for right now are going to remain nameless because nothing has been confirmed or anything like that. And I'm not trying to steal any of their announcements about floating the idea of, possible small scale regional tournaments, maybe toward the end of the summer or something like that. And, cool. It would be cool to see people, but I have to be honest, just for my part, I can't really imagine wanting to get on an airplane in the States right now to stay in a strange place. Our colleges are going totally online for the fall in California. Pretty much all public colleges are. And I'm perfectly happy with that. I really don't know what's going to happen over here in the States. So I'm happy for you guys, but it's a big question mark over here.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't blame you if I was over there. If I had to fly, I'd probably be less inclined. Luckily for us, it seems that Australia have been pretty onto it. Like you said, then, it seems that they've done a reasonable job. So,
once Australia started cribbing off of what you guys were doing, amazingly, their shit got much better.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I mean,
and another peg in the Australia-New Zealand rivalry is built up.
Always taking our shit. Russell Crowe, responsible quarantining.
That's really like when Australia seemed to kind of get their shit under control. Was like, let's look at New Zealand. New Zealand seems to kind of have this shit under. Like they're doing okay. Let's do what they're doing.
Yeah.
And we can't let those sheep fuckers win.
Where's that mature take?
Well, and on that whole serious note for both countries, I mean it's definitely a hell of a lot easier to make some of those things work when the only way people can really get into the country is they have to take long flights to get there, or they have to take long cruises to get there. So there were definitely some cheat codes involved with helping that, but it's awesome. My personal hope is that by Christmas, New Zealand is letting people from the States come and not have to quarantine for 14 days when they get there.
Yeah,
because I mean, I've got travel credit sitting with the airline that I'd booked my tickets with. I wouldn't mind coming down for Christmas and New Year's in New Zealand. That sounds like a really good time.
Yeah.
But they're gonna have to be allowing people to come in and not have to quarantine for 14 days. So
yeah,
we'll see how that eventuates.
Yeah.
Get your shit together, typhoid Yanks.
Hey, you want some blankets? Yes.
Too soon.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah. Hopefully, fingers crossed. We're ever the optimists on this podcast.
Yes, that's really our brand.
Yeah.
Right there.
Don't you mean ever the assholes? I think that's more on brand.
I think we have like the perfect combination of optimist, neutral, and pessimist on this podcast.
I'm not even going to ask which is which at this point. It's more fun just to imagine.
Dan's clearly the optimist.
Oh yeah, totally. That is my fucking role on this pod, is to be the optimist for everybody.
Right. Sure. So that takes care of that stuff. We'll keep people in the loop. Like if you live in Australia or New Zealand and you haven't heard any news about that, it's because there's nothing's official, nothing's been organized. It's just something that's been floated. I got a message, and yeah, so it's in development. I think most people are keen, but yeah, we'll keep everyone in the loop. I'll put some stuff out on Facebook. Right. Well, should we get to our news as a podcast? It seems probably a nice tangent. Drum roll.
Yeah. That was a totally smooth segue, Steve. Here's some on-air critique. You're probably gonna have to work on your segs.
No, it's fine.
I'm just gonna scream segue. That will just be our transition.
And then have like Paul Blart moving across the screen.
Hey, what did you call me? No, I segue as good as I roller skate. So
terribly.
Yeah. So we've got some changes coming up. Part of the reason why, like a small percentage of the reason why we haven't recorded in the last couple of weeks, we've been discussing ways in which we can make the podcast different. I'm not going to say better.
Don't overpromise. That's step one in advertising.
Better would be a definite bridge too far.
Yeah. Well, so I'm pretty sure that Joe Rogan took a page out of our book, which is why he's moved from YouTube to Spotify. We're gonna go sort of in a different direction. We're gonna move the podcast to live stream on Twitch. So you guys can see us in the flesh. We'll do it live, and I don't know if anyone's ever noticed the podcast, but I do a fair amount of editing whenever we record because but
we're fucking terrible at it.
Yeah, basically I talk like I got marbles in my mouth, and you know, like it's hard to.
I stutter.
Yeah, he stutters. It's hard to string sentences, you know, without busting out the edit hammer. Also, we say some inappropriate shit sometimes. So,
sometimes.
most of the time, it's all right to leave in the pod. Every now and again, I need to cut it out. But we're gonna go to a live format.
This is fake news.
Oh, I forgot to tell you, DK. We're going off live format. It means that one of the main reasons I wanted to do it, aside from, you know, getting everyone to see our beautiful faces, and our quarantine.
That's a terrible idea.
You should see DK.
If you want to see the 3 best faces for radio, come over to our Twitch channel.
We got 2 afros and a neck beard, and it's gonna be awesome.
I'm hoping by the time we go live, I'll have an opportunity to actually get a haircut since we're allowed to now.
You should go full Bob Ross, dude. It'd be awesome.
Gonna have a happy little podcast here.
No mistakes here. So we're gonna move to Twitch. We haven't finalized the time as of yet, but it'll likely be Saturday during the day for Australasia, and that makes it Friday evening for the West Coast ish.
Yeah, Friday evening for the West Coast, kind of Friday night for Central and Mountain.
Yep. So thank you for confirming to the world that I have absolutely no social life.
Same.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, okay, so most people know Than plays for a band, so on those days when he's out, you know, being a rock star, which is probably most of the weekends.
No, so funny thing about that, we're actually on a several month hiatus right now because because COVID fucked with our guitarist life pretty hard. So he's got a whole bunch of additional personal and family things that, you know, he needs to make sure that he's handling right now, and so, you know, we'll revisit in another like 3 or 4 months with that, after, you know, his life has had a chance to settle down and the world has had a chance to settle down, and we'll kind of figure out where that is. So in the immediate, Than is a rock star on hiatus, which is kind of, you know, I mean, it is what it is, you know, it's sad, but I totally, you know, support, you know, Josh, who is our guitarist, singer, and songwriter. You know, those 3 things are real fucking important in case anybody's wondering. I fully support that he, you know, had to put his family first during this and get that squared away. And it just did not leave him any time to, you know, create, practice, play, whatever. So in the interim, bass player Matt and I will be working on his solo album. So we'll have something to do, but there's not going to be, you know, probably any shows around that. So
well, it means that we'll have you for an extended period of time, I guess.
Yeah, you know, except when I'm playing, you know, D&D with the fam.
True. All right. Well, so most of the time you get the 3 of us. Sometimes you'll get me and DK. I can't imagine there'll be too many times it'll just be one of us. But yeah, we'll aim to do it on.
So that'll be a ride.
Yeah, you can come hang out with me, with old Steve, for however long. So we'll look to make that a regular thing. We don't have a date in mind yet for the first one, because we are looking to rebrand. We've got new logos and a fancy stream setup courtesy of Marco, who plays out of Loveland, Colorado. Sometimes he's doing some work with us to get the stream looking semi-professional. So once that's done, we'll set a date. We'll set up a Twitch stream. I'll put a link to that Twitch channel in the YouTube description. So I'd be super appreciative if you came and followed it. It'd be awesome.
And we don't have any other social media yet. I'm sure we'll be creating a Facebook page that's specifically for us.
Yeah.
At some point, probably in the very, very near future. Like, I'm sure probably after we get done recording this pod, I might actually just go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
So that we can actually have that, because part of the reason that we're looking to do this, kind of pulling the curtain back, is everything that we do at this point has, it gets posted obviously on the Laserforce YouTube channel, which is cool because, we talk a lot about Laserforce. So, hey, where else would we go? But we do acknowledge that, we all, and me especially, have filthy mouths. And we do sometimes say things that are at least a little objectionable, and having that on a channel that is, it is essentially a channel that people do find when they're randomly looking for Laserforce, that could be potential buyers and things like that. It's probably not the best look, and we acknowledge that. So part of this is to give us a little more freedom to not necessarily have to self-censor as much, because you wouldn't believe some of the stuff Steve has cut from pods, or maybe you would because you've met all three of us in person.
I feel like you're overselling it.
We're creating mystique.
It's not that bad.
We're creating mystique. Yeah. That's what we're about on this channel.
Yeah. Plus,
but the bottom line is the opinions on this podcast do not reflect the official position of Laserforce, its corporate officers, or any of its employees.
You know who
Correct.
I hate.
So that's the pulling the curtain back reason for it, is it gives us a little more freedom and Steve-O to do a few more things that aren't this, and have a platform for them, because I'm sure that Steve-O is going to end up doing some stuff that is without me and DK on that channel, because he's talked to us about some stuff and it's been like, ooh, well, that's kind of awesome. Have fun with that.
Yeah, eventually, if I get my act together. Like, it's interesting because the lockdown has given me a greater appreciation of the work that Twitch streamers do. I've never really been one to sit down and watch Twitch streams before. Within the last couple of weeks, a friend of mine, shout out Blue Sin, SYNN, check him out on Twitch. He's been streaming for a little while. He does a pretty good job, and watching him stream has got me itching to do it. So, yeah, I think it'll be fun. It also means that when we do this live, we can actually interact with you guys, all two of you that listen to the podcast. So
there are dozens of us, dozens,
tens. Yeah, there's tens of people that listen. Let's call it for what it is.
I mean, it'll be Matt and maybe Greg and Beans, and occasionally Broman-esque will jump in there and talk about Sneak's penis.
Marange.
So. Oh yeah,
just to talk shit to us.
But yeah, it means that.
How about Al will come by?
Yeah, oh, true. Yeah. Well, look, it means that we can talk to you guys whilst we're hanging out. Makes it more interactive. If we have guests, in air quotes, on, it means that people can come on, ask them questions, or give them shit, depending on how familiar you are with them.
It's a Venn diagram. There's going to be a fuck ton of overlap.
And the other thing, not that you have to, but we're obviously going to set up some sort of subs. So it's more of like a tip. Like, if you like what we do, give me money. No,
Best marketing ever.
No. There'll be some options for that sort of shit, but that's not really the focus. Like, we're not looking to profit from this. It'll still be the same premium free content that you get on a semi-regular basis from us. You know, all sorts of hilarity and whatnot, made up words.
Mostly.
And if you're a company and you'd like me to do some sort of parody ad copy for you that you have absolutely no creative input over, send it on over. I'll read it.
Yeah, you read it out live on the we can figure some stuff out like that, like some fun stuff to do whilst we stream. That enables us to get paid. No. That enables us to have some fun with you guys. So, yeah, I think it'll be a cool thing. Do you guys want to add anything else about that stuff?
No, I think that pretty much covers, you know, the crux of all the things.
I got a few show ideas rolling around in the old noggin,
Sweet.
but we'll see what happens with this going forward.
I'm excited.
I'm a big fan of other podcasts and Twitch streamers and things like that as well.
Yeah.
So if there's anything that I can shamelessly steal from the wider community and adapt for our fine program, you better believe that I will be doing that.
It's been 2 hours and nobody's subscribed. It's $5, people. It's $5. Yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be real fun for a little while at least. Yeah, we'll hopefully have that up by the end of June. I get real impatient with this sort of stuff. I get excited about an idea and then then I want it to happen yesterday. So we're seeing what we can do about getting up and running.
Tell your chairs to watch out then.
What's that?
I'll tell your chairs to watch out in case you get a little too upset.
Yeah, my neighbors are like, "What the fuck was that?"
You live below a bowling alley?
I see a couch fly out the window. Yeah, cool. All right, that's probably good. Was there anything else you guys want to talk about?
No, I think we're sorted.
Yeah. All right.
Good. Thanks for cheering me up for the evening, fellas.
Now I've got you hyped.
That's what we do.
You can go to bed. All right. Well,
Sleep is for the weak, and I am weak, so please let me have some sleep.
Please let me go to sleep. All right. Well, that'll do us for this week. I've been Guy Next Door.
I've been DK.
And I've been Than.
Always remember to backtrack, kids. We will see you soon.
When we see ya.
Yeah.